Alex, congratulations. What an incredible performance. Before I ask you about the match, who did you call on the phone right now?
I called my dad.
What did he tell you?
I don't know, I just said, oh my God, and we were just screaming, and my mom was there too, and I don't know, I'm really happy, yeah.
This was an incredible performance. You just beat the world #2.
Nobody expected this. Not the fans, not the analysts, not the commentators, and certainly not the betting markets. When Alexandra Eala walked onto the court in Berlin, she was supposed to be another promising young player getting an opportunity against one of the biggest stars in women's tennis. The story was supposed to be about Elena Rybakina, the Australian Open champion, former Wimbledon champion, World No.2, and one of the most feared players on any surface. Instead, by the end of the night, the entire tennis world was talking about Alexandra Eala. The young Filipino star delivered the kind of performance that changes careers, alters perceptions, and forces everyone to pay attention. This wasn't a lucky upset built on errors from an opponent having a bad day. This was a complete performance built on courage, preparation, tactical intelligence, and an unwavering belief that she belonged on the same court as one of the best players in the world. What made the result even more shocking was the context surrounding it. Rybakina entered Berlin in excellent form. She had already captured the Australian Open title earlier in the season, proving once again why she remained one of the elite players in women's tennis. Her serve was still considered one of the most dangerous weapons in the game. Her powerful ground strokes could overwhelm almost any opponent, and grass courts had historically been among her strongest surfaces. On paper, this should have been one-way traffic. Most predictions suggested that Eala would struggle to keep up with the pace and power. Instead, she walked onto the court with a completely different plan. She wasn't there to admire her opponent's achievements. She wasn't there for experience. She wasn't there to prove she could compete. She was there to win. That mindset became obvious from the very beginning. Even when Rybakina started strongly, firing serves and imposing her power, Eala never looked intimidated. She absorbed the pressure, adjusted to the pace, and gradually began forcing the match onto her own terms. It was the type of composure normally associated with seasoned champions rather than a young wildcard trying to make a breakthrough. Every point seemed to reveal more confidence. Every rally showed more belief. Every game demonstrated that she had arrived prepared not only physically, but mentally. To truly understand why this victory mattered so much, it is important to understand where Alexandra Eala stood before arriving in Berlin. For years, she had been considered one of the brightest prospects in tennis. Coaches praised her talent, analysts admired her left-handed game, and fans saw flashes of brilliance that hinted at a bright future. Yet potential and achievement are not the same thing. Young players are often described as future stars long before they actually prove themselves against the sport's elite. The transition from prospect to contender is one of the hardest journeys in professional tennis. Many talented players never make it. The challenge is not simply developing skills. It is learning how to perform under pressure, how to handle expectations, and how to believe in yourself when standing across the net from players who have already won Grand Slam titles. Berlin became the stage where Eala demonstrated that she was ready for that next step. The victory over Rybakina did not happen in isolation. It was the continuation of momentum that had been building throughout the grass court season. Her confidence had been growing with every match. She had already shown signs that her game was perfectly suited for grass. The surface rewarded her ability to take the ball early, create angles, and redirect pace. Unlike many players who need time to adjust, Eala appeared comfortable almost immediately. Her movement looked natural. Her shot selection was sharp. Most importantly, she played with a freedom that made her incredibly dangerous. Before facing Rybakina, she had already produced impressive results, including a significant victory over Donna Vekic. That win served as a warning to anyone paying close attention. While much of the tennis world remained focused on the established stars, Eala was quietly building one of the most impressive runs of her career. By the time she stepped onto the court against the World No.2, she wasn't hoping for a miracle. She was carrying genuine belief that she could compete and win. The match itself quickly became a lesson in resilience. Rybakina's power immediately tested Eala's defenses.
In my game in general, a highlight word would be to be brave, and it makes a big difference when I'm able to do that.
You were so brave today. You played so well. Alexandra Eala into the quarterfinals, beats the world #2.
The former Wimbledon champion struck the ball with her usual authority, forcing Eala to cover every inch of the court. Many players would have panicked under that pressure. Eala did the opposite. She remained patient, trusted her game, and waited for opportunities to attack. Instead of trying to hit winners from impossible positions, she focused on extending rallies and forcing Rybakina to play one extra shot. It sounds simple, but against a player of Rybakina's caliber, executing that strategy requires exceptional discipline. Gradually, the momentum began to shift. Eala started reading the serve more effectively. She found ways to neutralize the first strike. She turned defense into offense and began creating pressure of her own. The crowd could sense something unusual was happening. What had looked like a predictable match was becoming a genuine battle. Every game increased the tension. Every hold of serve felt significant. Every break point carried enormous weight. Yet throughout the pressure-filled moments, Eala's body language never changed. She looked calm. She looked focused. Most importantly, she looked like she believed she belonged there. That confidence became one of the defining images of the match. Young players often reveal nerves through rushed decisions or emotional reactions. Eala showed neither. Instead, she continued playing with remarkable maturity. When opportunities appeared, she took them. When mistakes happened, she moved on. She remained locked into the present moment. That ability to stay mentally strong ultimately became one of the biggest reasons for her success. By the time she secured the first set, the possibility of an upset was no longer a fantasy. It was becoming reality. Yet the second set presented an entirely different challenge. Winning a set against a top player is difficult. Closing out a match against one is even harder. Champions like Rybakina have built careers on fighting back from difficult positions. Everyone watching understood that the match was far from over. Eala understood it too. Instead of protecting the lead, she continued attacking. Instead of becoming cautious, she remained brave. That approach paid off. She continued creating chances. She continued handling pressure moments effectively. And as the finish line approached, she refused to let fear dictate her decisions. When the final point ended, the significance of the moment became immediately clear. A young wildcard from the Philippines had just defeated one of the biggest names in tennis. The crowd erupted. Commentators searched for words. Fans around the world rushed to social media to react. Yet perhaps the most memorable reaction came from Eala herself. The emotion on her face reflected everything that had gone into the victory. Years of training, years of sacrifice, years of believing in a dream that many considered unrealistic. All of it came together in one unforgettable moment. The celebration wasn't just about winning a match. It was about proving something to herself and to everyone who had followed her journey. It was confirmation that she belonged among the best players in the world. The impact of the victory extended far beyond Berlin. For Philippine tennis, it represented a historic achievement. The country had produced talented athletes before, but moments of this magnitude were extraordinarily rare. Young players watching at home suddenly had a new example to follow. Fans who had never closely followed tennis found themselves captivated by Eala's story. Media outlets around the world began paying attention. What had started as a single upset was becoming a defining moment for an entire sporting community. The conversation around Alexandra Eala changed almost overnight. Before Berlin, discussions centered around potential. After Berlin, discussions centered around possibilities. Could she make a deep run at Wimbledon? Could she break into the top ranks? Could she become a consistent threat against elite opponents? Those questions suddenly felt realistic rather than speculative. The victory forced everyone to reconsider what might be possible. It also highlighted one of the most important qualities in sports: timing. Talented players emerge every year, but success often depends on peaking at the right moment. Eala's confidence was growing at exactly the right time. As Wimbledon approached, she was no longer a rising prospect flying under the radar. She had become one of the most talked about players in tennis. But success brings pressure, and every breakthrough star must prove that one big win is not just a one-time moment. If Berlin showed anything, it's that Alexandra Eala has the mentality to handle that challenge. Against Rybakina, she displayed courage, composure, and belief under pressure. Almost nobody expected her to win, Yet she delivered one of the biggest upsets of the season and announced herself to the tennis world. The future suddenly looks much brighter, and Eala now appears capable of achieving far more than anyone imagined just days ago.